सर्वं यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
दयालुं गुरुं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं प्रशान्तं
दयालुं गुरुं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं प्रशान्तं
समाराध्य मत्या विचार्य स्वरूपम्
समाराध्य मत्या विचार्य स्वरूपम्
यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं निदिध्यास्य विद्वान्
यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं निदिध्यास्य विद्वान्
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
यदानन्दरूपं प्रकाशस्वरूपम्
यदानन्दरूपं प्रकाशस्वरूपं
निरस्तप्रपञ्चं परिच्छेदहीनम्
निरस्तप्रपञ्चं परिच्छेदहीनम्
अहं ब्रह्मकृत्यैकगम्यं तुरीयम्
अहं ब्रह्मकृत्यैकगम्यं तुरीयम्
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
यदज्ञानतो भाति विश्वं समस्तम्
यदज्ञानतो भाति विश्वं समस्तं
विनष्टं च सद्यो यदात्मप्रबोधे
विनष्टं च सद्यो यदात्मप्रबोधे
मनोवागतीतं विशुद्धं विमुक्तं
मनोभागतीतं विशुद्धं विमुक्तं
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
निषेधे कृते नेति नेतीति वाक्यैः
निषेधे कृते नेति नेतीति वाक्यैः
समाधिस्थितानां यदा भाति पूर्णम्
समाधिस्थितानां यदा भाति पूर्णम्
अवस्थात्रयातीतमद्वैतमेकम्
अवस्थात्रयातीतमद्वैतमेकम्
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
यदानन्दलेशैः समानं विश्वम्
यदानन्दलेशैः समानं विश्वम्
यदा भाति सत्त्वे तदा भाति सर्वम्
यदा भाति सत्त्वे तदा भाति सर्वम्
यदा लोकने रूपमन्यत् समस्तम्
यदा लोके निरूपमन्यत् समस्तं
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
अनन्तं विभुं निर्विकल्पं निरीहम्
अनन्तं विभुं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं
शिवं सङ्गहीनं यदोङ्कारगम्यम्
शिवं सङ्गहीनं यदोङ्कारगम्यं
निराकारमत्युज्ज्वलं मृत्युहीनम्
निराकारमत्युज्ज्वलं मृत्युहीनं
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
यदानन्दसिन्धौ निमग्नः पुमान् स्यात्
यदानन्दसिन्धो निमग्नः स्यात्
अविद्याविलासः समस्तप्रपञ्चः
विद्याविलासः समस्तप्रपञ्चः
तदा न स्फुरत्यद्भुतं यन्निमित्तम्
तदा न स्फुरत्यद्भुतं यन्निमित्तं
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि
स्वरूपानुसन्धानरूपां स्तुतिं यः
स्वरूपानुसन्धानरूपां स्तुतिं
नित्यमुद्युक्तचित्तः
शृणोति नित्यमुद्युक्तचित्तः
भवेद्विष्णुरत्रैव वेदप्रमाणात्
भवेद्विष्णुरत्रैव वेदप्रमाणात्
भवेद्विष्णुरत्रैव वेदप्रमाणात्
भवेद्विष्णुरत्रैव वेदप्रमाणात्.
So the antaranga sadhana, the closest, the nearest means for moksha, that is jnanam. For jnanam, the antaranga sadhana, they are mentioned in verse number 3, 4 and 5. Here in the third verse, the focus is on Shravanam. It says, the Shravanam, in the process of Shravanam, one understands the Swarupa. What is Brahma Swarupa? What is Atma Swarupa? What is Jagat Swarupa? The person listens to that, understands that. And here, Brahma Swarupa, Atma Swarupa is said. Yat Ananda Rupam. Whose Swarupa, whose very nature, Rupa, here is Swarupa. Rupa here does not mean form, but here very nature. Whose Swarupa is Ananda. Ananda is fulfillment, the joy, the happiness, the abiding happiness, which is unconditional. Ever full it is. It is the Ananda Rupam. That is the Parama Purushartha. Wherever we see the word Ananda in the Shastra, we have to connect it immediately to Purushartha. That is what everyone sees. Abiding happiness, unabating happiness, right? Unconditional joy, fullness, that is what one sees. Therefore, that is the Purushartha. That which is the very form of Parama Purushartha, fullness, contentment, happiness, which is unabating, unconditional, eternal, everlasting. This all the pravritti, the activities of all the beings, right? All the beings fall under this Parama Purushartha, or fall within Parama Purushartha only. All beings look for happiness and look for freedom from sadness. This is what every being looks for. And all the pravritti, why a person does something, why another person does something else, why a person wants this, why another person does not want this, all these are all for the gain of happiness and the freedom from dukkha, the sadness, sorrow. So, all search, all activity, all seeking, all that wanting, all the longing, all that falls under Parama Purushartha. We remember in the Bhagavad Gita it was mentioned, no? Yada Udapane Sarvata Samplutodake Yavanartha Udapane Sarvataha Samplutodake Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanataha. Remember the little pond, little puddle of water. That is like Dharma, Artha, Kama, the other Purushartha. Doing japa, doing yajna, doing homa, doing dhanam, and even observing tapas, doing tapas. All these are all like the small puddles of water, small pool of water. Of course, there is some little prayojana is there, but all that use of all the activities and gain, experience, all that is there. The result, net result of all of this is looking for the joy, the happiness, and that falls within the like the samudra, the ocean like happiness. Sarvataha Sampluta Udake. All over, all around you see water and water, which is usable, okay, which is potable, usable. So all the purposes that are served in the small pool of water definitely falls within that, the all pervading water, the huge vast reservoir of water. And not only that, much more, right? The puddle may get evaporated. The puddle of water may evaporate in peak summer. In the heat it might evaporate, or the source may drain, or the water may become impure. All that is all possible. But this huge reservoir of water like ocean never dries up, right? And it remains in its own swarupa. So the Parama Purushartha is like the ocean, and then the other Purusharthas, Artha, Kama, Pursuit, they are all like the small pools of water, puddles of water. Therefore Bhagavan says, Yavan Arthavadapane Sarvataha Samkritodake, etc. He says. Here Ananda Rupam is Parama Purushartha, and then all seeking, all experiencing, all wanting, etc. all fall under this Ananda Rupa within Parama Purushartha. It's all Antargata, right? It's only a small part of that Parama Purushartha. That is, behind all seeking, right? Behind all seeking, behind all yearning, longing, wishing, desiring, behind all that, this Parama Purushartha is at the back of all. The only problem with a person is that the person is not able to identify this. That is, Parama Purushartha is what I am seeking. That the person does not know because of the covering of avidya, and because of the raga dvesha covering, because of the sense of smallness. I am missing, I am wanting, I am incomplete, right? I am insufficient by myself. Those notions as though hinder the person's capacity to look through one's own wants, desires, look through one's own activities, and then see at the back of all this the longing for Parama Purushartha that is there. This person is not able to identify. This person only would say, I seek money, that's all. I want power, I want longevity, I want health, I want fame, right? That's all. I want to be powerful, that's all the person would say. But behind all this, to be rich, to be famous, to be strong, to be powerful, to be famous, behind all that, there is this seeking for this Parama Purushartha is there. But unfortunately, that person is not able to spot it, identify it. Whereas a Viveki, Vairagi, etc., Vivekavan, Vairagyavan, that person, the Mumukshu, is able to identify that what I am seeking is Parama Purushartha, and that is universally sought by everyone. This the Viveki, Vairagi is able to see that. Therefore, here Ananda is the Parabrahma Swarupam, Paramatma Swarupam, which is Parama Purushartha. This is what I am seeking. Yadu Ananda Swarup, Ananda Rupam, Prakasha Swarupam, self-revealing and illumines everything. Atma, I the Sakshi, the Kutastha, I am self-revealing. That is, I am, that's all. To know that I am, I don't need any other means. I don't need eyes or ears, or I don't have to touch myself and then say that yes, I exist. To know that I am, I exist, I don't need to touch myself. Sometimes we say, pinch and then see whether you are dreaming or waking. Sometimes something wonderful, exquisite is happening, something, a dream come true, like something is happening, and then you doubt whether it is in the waking state, whether I am awake or am I dreaming, right? Then they say pinch yourself and then see. Pinch means, yeah, I am awake. I don't know. Suppose I were to pinch in dream, maybe also it will feel, perhaps it will feel. But they say pinch and feel for yourself. So this all that is there, that's all illumined by this Atma alone. Whatever that is there, my mind, my body, all that is illumined. I am is self-luminous, self-revealing. And I illuminate, I light up my sense organs, my mind, etc. Even the Chidabhasa, the Jiva, the Vyavaharika entity called Jiva, is also lit up by the very existence of Jiva, the Chidabhasa, is because of me, the Atma Chaitanyam, Brahma Chaitanyam. And Chidabhasa's aspirations, to be happy, to be free, and then to be full, etc. To be famous, to be rich, all that. All the aspirations of Chidabhasa are all lit up by me, the Atma Chaitanyam. That is the Prakasha Swarupa. Self-revealing and then illumining everything. We remember that mantra, Nanatatra Suryo Bhati. That mantra we remember here. Prakasha Swarupam. And I am the Sakshi, that Kutastha Sakshi I am, Prakasha Swarupam. And then further the Acharya says, Nirastha Prapancham. The entire Prapancha, the whole universe. Prapancha, the word Prapancha means well spread out, well expanded, fully expanded. Prakarshena, very well. Pra means fully, very well, completely, hugely, vastly. Prapancha means expanded. The world of name and form, universe is vast, right? Vast. Anywhere I see, beyond, when all that I see and all that is beyond what I can see, there is this Prapancha is there. Very interesting. I look at east. Suppose this is east. I look at the east. What am I looking at? I am looking at infinity. Right? The east is infinite. The space is, direction is infinite. How far it is east? It's infinite there. And suppose I turn to the west and look at, what am I looking at? Again infinite. Right? And then north and south, it is again I am looking at infinite. Above, infinite. Niche, adaha, below, that's all infinite. So anywhere I look at, I am looking at infinity only. Right? But then my eye is not able to look at the infinity distance. But then because of its own limitations and because of the external limitations, I am able to see some 100 feet, 1 kilometer, 10 kilometers, etc. That's all. But then what I am looking at is infinity. Because of the limitation of the upadhi, namely the eye and the external upadhi, right? Therefore I am not seeing the infinity, but really I am looking at infinity, right? So is vast is the universe. So the scientists, the astronomers, etc., they give a size for this universe. They give a this long, this big is the universe, they say. They say some 1,000 million light years, etc., or even bigger numbers, they say. So many light years, that is the size of the universe, they say. Now suppose I walk towards the edge of the universe. Okay, you say this big is the universe. Now, suppose I walk to the edge of the universe, and then I take very edge, I am at the universe, edge of the universe, and then next step, where will I put my step? So you have said only this much is the universe size, okay? This is the size of the universe. Then suppose I were to be at the edge and then I were to put a step, one step further. Where will I keep my step? In the universe or not in the universe? Where?
Universe.
That means the universe is beyond that also. Beyond your number also, right? So space is beyond that number also. Interesting. This question, one of our friends asked a scientist, the scientist was saying, this big is the universe now. Then he asked, what is beyond the universe? The scientist said, we don't know. That's all. So we can say what is beyond also universe only, right? What is also beyond also universe only. That means space is ananta, akasha is ananta, anantavan. Okay. So prapancha is so vast, infinitely vast, size wise, dimension wise, it is so vast. And within that space we find innumerable entities, big and small, vast and then tiny, right? Living, not living. How many things we find? Vast, really cannot take a list of what is there in the universe. So vast it is. And in one type of object itself, there are innumerable object members in it. Suppose one group, say trees I take, no, and then so many trees are there. Grass means so many grass. The what do you call the grass plant? I can call. Blades of grass. No, that one gucha, one bunch of grass. Innumerable it is. So this is a prapancha, vast indeed. And this is what I see, what I interact with. Right? The prapancha I see, I interact, I relate with the prapancha. I live in the prapancha. In fact, I am part of the prapancha. So see, when I look at this is the prapancha, that means you are all part of my prapancha, what I see. And when you look at me, I am part of your prapancha. That means we are part of the prapancha only. I don't stand outside of the prapancha. I am in the prapancha and then I interact with the prapancha. And then it is this prapancha that gives me everything. Right from this body onward, this mind onwards, and then all that I experience, all that I enjoy, all that I want, it's all from the prapancha only. And all that I don't want also is in the prapancha only. Right? I want this, I don't want that. It's also part of prapancha only, right? And interestingly, something I say, I want this. And the very same thing, some fellow says, I don't want this. Okay? I like this, I say. Some other fellow says, I don't like, I hate this. That's why people sell used cars. In India, we have one that Fiat, old model Fiat, 1980s. We had Fiat car. Now it's worthless. It's worthless. Worth only for the scrap iron only. That's all worth. Now, if you have to go and look for this Fiat 1975 Padmini, Premier Padmini, I want to buy. It's very difficult to spot one because it is not there. But then even if you spot, then you ask, what is the price? 3,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees, that's all. If you pay more, you are paying more than that. It's not necessary. That's all. And it's a petrol guzzler like. The economy, fuel economy, it was not in our horizon. Fuel economy, the question was not at all in our horizon then. Some 6 kilometers per liter and all that, something like that, 7 kilometers. It takes more to maintain than the cost of the vehicle itself. Okay. Every month you will have to spend 6,000 rupees. You would buy the car for 3,000 rupees. Now, when somebody sells this Padmini Premier car, Fiat car, or the Lambretta scooter, the Italian make Lambretta scooter, you buy. The fellow, when he sells, a good sell, I got rid of this troublemaker. It was just occupying space in my garage, and even the Kailankadai, even the scrap merchant was not offering this much. Then I got good price, 3,000 rupees for my Fiat car. A good sell, the fellow says. And then he says, good riddance. I got rid of this headache. And then the buyer thinks, wow, a cheap buy, a good buy. Right? Wow, I got this car for just for a song. Says, very cheaply. See, what one fellow does not want, the other fellow seems to want it. Very interesting. It's all part of the prapancha. It's all Maya Vilasa it is. We can't fix any value to that. No, I want this. I can't fix a value. This is an object of my like. I cannot fix for sure. I cannot say because later on I change my value, change my tag. This is something I don't want. Okay. One Swami says. So even this body, we have a liking. One has liking for this body, but then we do see when people want to shed this body also. Enough of this. I want to drop this. I want to be free from this body also. There are people who say. And people love to eat, love food. Generally, we love food. Generally. And there are times when someone says, no, enough of this food. Right? Food in general, no, I don't want to eat anymore. And the Swami says, I have been loving food in each janma, and I have been disliking food in each janma. I have been disliking. The Swami says, it was made me sit up and think. I have been disliking food in each janma. I never thought like that. I always thought like I always love food. But then the Swami says, no, I dislike every food in every janma. I dislike. It was something made me look up. So the idea is this: what I like sometime, later on I say I don't like. I cannot fix the value that I like it or I don't like it. I cannot fix. It keeps changing. That is the prapancha of Nama Rupa. And it is all, as later on we see, Maya, Avidya Vilasa it is. Maya Vilasa it is. The play, the sport of this Maya, the manifestation of Maya Shakti. This is the prapancha. And this is Nirasta here. It is said Nirasta prapancham. All that is negated. It's all neti iti. It's all negated. This is not the vastu. This is only a name form. The pot is only a name form. Clay is the substance. So like in negating the pot, the name form, we arrive at the clay, the substance, the truth of the pot. So too, in negating the name form, this prapancha, what do we arrive at? We arrive at the vastu, which is Brahma, which is Atma. Okay. Neti, and then naham, like the Nirvana Shatkam, Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chittani, Naham, etc. We see. Negating all, what remains? The Sakshi, non-negatable. Sakshi remains. The Sakshi cannot be negated because now who is there to negate the Sakshi? The negator of the negation cannot be negated. The negator cannot be negated. What is negated? Yes, it is negated. The pot, it is not a pot, it is only clay. It is not clay, it is only mud, it's only atom. What is not atom, it is only particle. It is not particle, it is only wave. We can go on dismissing. But then, who dismisses the negator? There is no entity. To negate the negator, there is none. That is the limit of negation. What is that? The negator is the limit of all negation. The negator cannot be negated. That negator is neti, naham. Who is that? Sakshi, that Chaitanya Atma. That is the Nirasta Prapancham. And then we have twofold. The Prapancha we look upon is twofold. One is Bahya Prapancha. The other is Antara Prapancha. Antara, not Andhra. Antara Prapancha. Bahya Prapancha. Universe outside. And then there is one within my mind, there is one universe. Antara Prapancha. My perception. Suppose there is a pot. This pot existing outside of my mind belongs to Bahya Prapancha, external universe. And then when I see the pot, in my mind there is a cognition, there is a perception of this pot. When I see, when I touch, no, there is a perception is there. Where does that happen? The perception of the pot, the cognition of the pot, and then say I love this pot, so cute, so tiny, so cute, okay, cute pot, nice looking. I can, a pocket pot, this is, no, it's a pocket pot. Now, where does this idea of liking, wanting, all the loving, hating, where does it all love, where is it all? It's all in me, the mind. In me or in me, the mind. This is called Antara Prapancha. This Antara Prapancha is sometimes it is a mapping what my perception of the external Prapancha. Right? I see the sun and then the perception in me, it is there. There is a sun outside and then I have a perception of the sun. The sun outside is Bahya Prapancha, belongs to Bahya Prapancha. And my perception of the sun is Antara prapancha. And sometimes I have my own imaginations, my own fancies, fantasies, daydreams, right? All that I have. Imagine sitting and then dreaming. What is it dreaming? Some beautiful girl is coming and then walking towards this fellow and then says, hi, and then says, gives a very nice smile, and then this fellow is daydreaming. There is no girl outside, right? But this only all daydreaming. Where is the daydream belong to? The fancies, the fantasies, where does dreams, where does all belong to? The Antara Prapancha also. There is no Bahya Prapancha, but then it's all this fellow's own fancy. That is also Antara Prapancha. So in Antara Prapancha itself, one matching with the external Prapancha, and then other part of it, there is no external Prapancha, just this fellow's just imagination, fancy, that is also. It's all Antara Prapancha. Either way, it is infinite. Bahya also is infinite. Antara also is infinite, limitless. Right? How many fancies I can have? Infinite number of. How many ideas I can entertain? Infinite. How many perceptions I can hold? Infinite. How many thoughts can there be I can stuff in my mind? Infinite thoughts. Infinite. I can always stuff a few hundred more thoughts in my mind. So suitcase, we can't stuff. There's a limit. There's a limit. Suppose I can keep some 10 pieces of clothing, etc. I can keep. But in my mind, how many thoughts I can stuff? Infinite. There is always room for, comfortable room for one more thought. Right? There is always room for one more thought. That's the bigness of the mind. That's why the Shastra says, Mano Brahmeti Upasita. Look upon mind as Brahman. The Manaha is a symbol for Brahman. It's something you look upon as Brahman. Like even we see, the Haridra Bimba, the piece of turmeric, we see it as Ganesha. Haridra Bimba, the turmeric, piece of turmeric, is a symbol. Symbolic is a symbol. It points to Ganesha, which is beyond that symbol. Okay? But then similarly, mind is some pratika, and then that pratika is infinite, and then that symbolizes Brahma. Mano Brahma iti upasita. If I look upon mind, may I look upon my mind as a manifestation of, an indication of Brahma. Then what? My mind becomes Brahman. Right? Verily understands that Brahman. Therefore, this Antara Prapancha also is to be taken here. Nirasta Prapancha, not just Bahya Prapancha only. Bahya means external universe only, but also within the universe within as well. Nirasta Prapancham. All that Prapancha is illumined, whether Bahya, whether Antara, it is illumined by me, the seer. And then the external lights are also there and illumined. And the very existence of this Prapancha, Bahyam va, Antaram va, internal or external, the very Satta, the very existence of the Prapancha, where from it comes? From the very truth of this Prapancha, namely Brahmatma. Like even the very existence of our pot is gotten from the clay, so too the Prapancha draws his very being. To say that the table is, that mountain is, the sun is, the body is, the mind is, the thought is, all that Satta, the very being, isness, is from the Is Atma, Sat Atma. And therefore, the Satatma is from Satta of this, the very being of this world is from the Sat Brahma. And then the very illumination, very capacity to shine, very capacity to be known, that is the Spuranam is there, that is also from the Satchit Brahmatma only. So very Satta, the very being, and then the capacity to be manifest, capacity to be seen, to be perceived, that is Spuranam, that is from the Brahmatma only. Now here, the Sat and Satta and Spuranam of this Prapancha, the very being and the very manifestation of this Vastu, an object, is from Satchidatma only. Now therefore, all this manifestation is Nama Rupa, right? Whereas the content, the Vastu is Sat Brahma. The person looks at the truth of this Prapancha, that is free from Prapancha. The truth of the Prapancha is free from Prapancha, right? Yeah, always. Otherwise it is part of Prapancha. Now, the truth of the part is free from partness at all. Being a part, the clay, in clay there is no partness at all. But part is clay. Right? This is the riddle. This is the enigma. This is the anirvachaniya enigma riddle. It's here. Right? Clay is not pot, pot is clay. This is a riddle. This is how the world is. This is how the things are. Therefore, here Acharya says Nirasta Prapancham, wherein all the Namarupas do not find a part as part of it, as an attribute of it, as belonging to it. In no way Prapancha constitutes a part of the Brahma Vastu, Nirasta Prapancham. Okay? This is how the sadhaka, in the Shravana, in the process of Shravana, the person understands that Brahmatma Vastu, I the Brahmatma, I am free from Prapancha always. I am free from the nature of the body, the dharma of the body, the ups and downs of the body, the plus and minus of the body. I am always free from. Nirasta Prapancha Sakshi I am, Utastha I am. And therefore, being Nirasta Prapancha, Paricheda Hinam. Hina, free from, bereft of, without. Hinam, without, bereft of, without any Paricheda. Paricheda is a limitation, division, separation. That word is we have separation. Without any division, without any limitation. It is Paricheda Hinam. To say that something is limited, right? To say that something is limited, to know something as limited, that something, the knower, should be other than the known, right? Simple. Suppose I say this is limited, the table is limited. To know that the table as a limited entity, the knower of the table, I have to be other than the limited table, right? In other words, I am free from the limitations that belong to the table, right? Known, I am the knower, okay? I am the knower, I am different from the known. And then the known is limited, I am different from the known. That means I am free from the limitations that belong to known. Drishya, what is Drishya? Is Parichinna, is limited. And I am not Drishya, I am the Drik Swarupa. And therefore I am free from the Paricheda, meaning limitation of all that is Drishya. I am Paricheda Hinam. Who is there to cause division in me? There is no entity, right? Other than me, there is no Vastu, no truth. Therefore, I am free from all Paricheda. Even Kala, even time, it is sensed by me, right? I only perceive time, understand time. Therefore, I am free from time also. When I say today, tomorrow, yesterday, next week, that means I am free from today, tomorrow, yesterday, next week. I am free from that. I am Kala Atita. And I am Desha Atita. I am free from the limitations of this Desha, space. Okay. Place, time, etc. do not cause any division in me. See, suppose I am in Rishikesh today. Then say tomorrow I go to Delhi. Day after tomorrow I go to Mumbai. Okay. Now, so physically I am not here, not now. But when I go from place to place, what is my concept about myself? What is my idea about myself? Do I see that I am in Delhi minus Rishikesh. I minus Rishikesh. Right? When I am in Rishikesh, I plus Rishikesh. When I go away from Rishikesh, in Delhi, I minus Rishikesh. And in Mumbai, I minus Rishikesh minus Delhi. Is it the idea that we have ourselves? Not at all. There is no sense of minus or plus. When I come back to Rishikesh again I plus Rishikesh. No such notion. We don't have any notion at all. Fully, I am here. And when I go to Delhi, I am fully there. When I go to Mumbai, I am fully there. Right? That's how we look at ourselves. Desha does not bring about any limitation. It's not even there. We don't even think so. I minus Rishikesh, I plus Rishikesh. Right? I plus, I minus. Right? The notation I plus. That is something added to me. What is that? This place, this time, this way. No, nothing of that sort. Therefore, Paricheda Hinam. I am free from all limitations. Even suppose one is rich, okay, and then unfortunately this fellow turns poor. He became poor. Lost all money in the Wall Street. Thought that the wall would stand, but then the wall collapsed. The whole street collapsed. Okay. The Wall Street collapsed. And then without money now. Now this fellow, but when the fellow was rich and then when the fellow is poor now, still with reference to oneself. The fellow may say, I am rich, I am poor, the fellow may say, but then with reference to oneself still, there is only I am full always. Right? I am full. With money or without money, I am full. That is this idea one has. So very clearly it points out, Paricheda Hinam. Free from all divisions, free from all limitations. All this I and you, this and that, it's all Upadhikrita Paricheda. I am so and so, you are so and so, I am this way, you are that way. This is all Upadhikrita. This we have seen in Atma Bodha, we have seen. Okay? So, Jala Chandravat, etc. we see. Therefore, I am Paricheda Hinam. Atma, I am Paricheda Hinam. This word, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. We have that. We find in the Taittiriya Upanishad, gives us very clearly what is Brahman. It says Anantam Brahma. The limitless is Brahman. The boundless, the limitless is Brahman. Desha, Kala, Vastu, there is no limit. It is Brahman. It gives the Paricheda Hinam. Okay. And then, how do I understand this Atma Vastu, Brahma Vastu? Aham Brahma Vritti Eka Gamyam. Vritti Eka Gamyam. Gamyam, understood, gotten. Gamya means understood, gotten. Understood by Vritti Eka Gamyam. Only by this Vritti. By this Vritti alone it is understood. Which Vritti? Vritti is cognition. What cognition here? Aham Brahma. I am Brahman. Brahma is me. I am Brahman. Sarvam idam Brahma. The truth of all this is Brahman. And that Brahman Aham Asmi. Then Aham Brahma Vritti Eka Gamyam. By that Vritti alone it is understood. Not by this Vritti. I am separate, you are separate. No? You are different, I am different. You are another entity, I am another entity. This another entity is all Upadhikrita. Suppose these pots were to talk between themselves, they were to have a discussion. And this fellow says, hey Chotu, this is little small in size, okay? This is little bigger, this is smaller. This fellow, hey Chotu, this fellow calls Chotu means little one. And this fellow, hey Motu, this fellow calls Motu means a bigger one. Motu and Chotu. No, I am a Motu, I am not Chotu. It's all only Upadhikrita, right? There is only one clay here, there is no one space here. So as long as this clay, suppose this pot were to think or this pot were to say, I am the small clay, then the fellow has has not understood what it is. Okay, so this aham brahma vritti, akhanda akara vritti, they say there is no khanda. Khanda means division here, separation, parting, right? Dividing, it is not there. The eka gamyam, understood only in this way. There is no other way I can understand Brahman correctly. I may have incorrect ideas, incomplete ideas, and they are infinite number of ideas. Now, 2 plus 2, what is it? What is the correct answer? 4. We all know that. How many correct answers are there? Only one. How many wrong answers can be there now? Infinite wrong answers, right? How many wrong answers can be there? 2 plus 2 is equal to 1 million. 2 plus 2 is equal to 0. 2 plus 2 is minus 34. 2 plus 2 is equal to half. All wrong answers. 2 plus 2 is equal to a cat. Is a rabbit. 2 plus 2 is a rabbit. How now? My arithmetic, 2 plus 2 is a rabbit. Full stop. Wrong. How many wrong answers can there be there? Infinite wrong answers. You understand this? For one valid, one correct, one truth, one idea, there can be infinite wrong ideas, incorrect ideas, and add to that incomplete ideas, again infinite. So, Kenopanishad says, Yan manasa na manute yenahur manomatam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi, and then says, nedam yadidam upasate. Very carefully it adds, do not, it was not in this way. In what way people perceive, think of Ishvara, God. It's not the complete understanding of God. It is not the complete picture of God. Why it is not a complete picture of God? Because they leave out, at least they leave out themselves from it. That's all. They cut out everything. This is not God. Suppose I'm looking for God. Okay, I am on the lookout for God. And then look at, no, this is Jayarama, cut out. And this is Swami, cut out. This is Ramaji, cut out. This is Prakash, cut out. I cut out all that is not God, because this is one, this is another, that's another. And then I cut out myself also. I got cut out. Then how I negate everything. What is God then? Where is God? What is God? It becomes either zero or ati alpam becomes. Extremely insignificant God becomes. So that is not a correct understanding, correct notion about God. Right? Therefore, Ishvara, it is not a. Therefore, Upanishad says, Na idam yatim upasate. People look upon Ishvara as other than oneself. This is incorrect. So Shruti very clearly says, Na idam. It is not in that way. In the way people assume about God, right? Have notions about God and preach about God. That is not the true idea about God at all. Therefore, only in one way one can understand, that is vritti, akhanda akara vritti, aham brahma vritti eka gamyam. Only that way you understand Ishvara in full. The full entity you understand in fullness. Only when I understand that it's full. So, right? I take it as full, then only I understand it fully. Therefore, aham brahma vritti eka gamyam. Not in any other way. I always wrongly understand, and then I always misunderstand, I misinterpret, I incorrectly, incompletely understand. Whereas aham brahma vritti is the only full way, because the vastu is full, purna, and therefore I have to understand as it is. We say, what is knowledge? When you say, define jnanam. What is jnanam? What do you mean by knowledge? You say, what do you mean by jnanam? You say, abaditam jnanam. Pramanajanyam jnanam. What is bana of pramana? Pramanajanyam jnanam. It is not opinion janyam. Janya means born of. Not opinion janya. Not hypothesis. Not a hypothesis. How do you verbalize? How do you make it a verb? Hypothesizing. not by a process of hypothesis, conjecture, projection, right? It's not by a process that you understand. Oh, pramana janyam, one of pramana it is. Like even when I understand the color, you see the color of someone, some object, that is pramana janyam, one of this pramana called eye. So it becomes valid. In this situation, the color of this is red, blue, etc. It is valid. In this framework, it is red, valid. Pramana janyam it has to be. And because it is pramana janyam, it is abadita. It is not negated at all. It cannot be negated. This way it is. It cannot be negated. Pramana janyam. And also this yatha vastu tatha jnanam is it. Jnanam has to match exactly with the nature of the object. Right? That is exactly matching with the nature of the object is jnanam. I see a pot, that is the vastu object, and I understand it as it is. That is jnanam of the pot. So yatha vastu tatha darshanam. You perceive, you understand a thing as it is. That is called jnanam. Now Brahman, the very word Brahman indicates it is limitless. The very word Atma indicates it is limitless. It is all pervasive. The very word indicates it is all pervasive. Sarvavyapi. Atma means Sarvavyapi. So how can that Atma be tiny? How can that Atma be limited? If I think Atma is limited, then I don't understand the meaning. I don't understand the Vastu Atma. If I say Brahman is elsewhere, not here, then I don't understand Brahman. Therefore, here Aham Brahma Vritti is Pramana Janya, right? Pramana, the Upanishad is a Pramana, born of teaching, Aham Brahma Vritti. And that Brahma Vastu, Atma Vastu is understood only that way. There is no other way of understanding Brahman. See, there may be various standpoints. From different standpoints, things look differently. That's fine, understood. Like even, suppose I look at the mountain from here, it looks huge, it is huge. Suppose I fly some 10 kilometers, 12 kilometers in an aeroplane, I am flying and then I look at the mountain looks small, right? So looking small, the mountain looks small is from a standpoint. From a standpoint 10 kilometers above or 100 kilometers above, I see it, look at the mountain, it looks tiny. True, yes. So so in the mountain above, sometimes you can see elephants. Dry season, they come searching for forage, for food, they come. So from here, from a distance, you look at an elephant, it looks like a small, tiny elephant, like a doll it looks. It is true that it looks small. That is because of the standpoint, the viewpoint, the standpoint. From different standpoints, things may appear differently. But that does not mean that the thing is so. Right? That is the nature of the thing. We should not conclude. Of course, even our sun looks small. I can, just with my palm, I can cover the sun. Does it mean that the sun is smaller than my palm size? No. That is because of the standpoint. I am so many kilometers away from the sun, therefore it looks small. And look at the stars, right? They are all giants. Some of them are huge, so huge. Even the sun, if I were to place the sun in that giant star, the sun becomes a speck. So big stars are there. And then those stars are real giants they look like a tiny dot. That is because of the standpoint. Just because they appear small, they are not small. It is one thing to say the star appears small, that is one thing. But then it is another thing to say the star is small. There is a world of difference between these statements, right? The star appears tiny, fine. There is no problem with it. But then suppose I were to conclude, therefore the star is tiny. That's where I am committing the mistake. That's an error. Appear small is valid, but then is small, it has no validity. Appear small is valid from a distance. It looks small. Yes, it looks small. Who says it doesn't look small? It looks small, yes. But then it is small is the mistake I would commit. If I want to say so, that's a mistake. So too, I am a jiva. I look like a jiva. Now, yes, you are right. But I am a jiva. It's a mistake. I am a samsari. I look like a samsari. Yes, I look like a samsari. But then I am a samsari is a mistake. The conclusion is the problem. That avichara siddha it is. Therefore, any number of conclusions we have about ourselves, about the world, about Ishvara, they are all may have a validity or part validity from various standpoints. But then to conclude their standpoint as the truth of the entity is the mistake we commit. Therefore, the truth of the entity can be understood as it is only. Big is understood as big only. The bright entity is understood as bright. The hot is understood as it is hot. So too, Brahma is infinite, Atma is infinite, and that's how it has to be understood. Therefore, Aham Brahma Vritti Eka Gamyam. Only that way you can understand it correctly. Any other way of concluding is incorrect, is simply incorrect. So, you say standpoint, it's fine, no problem, no argument. It's yes. From various standpoints, it looks differently. Yes. So see, like there is suppose the sunlight, we pass the sunlight through a prism, and then the prism disperses all the colors in the sunlight, and then we see different colors, the Vigyar, etc. We see various colors. We see. In fact, there is more to it. The not seen colors are also there. Wavelengths are also there. Infrared is there, ultraviolet is there, and so much is there. Okay. But then to conclude that the sunlight is violet, is blue, is green, is yellow, no, it is not correct. And therefore, our problem lies in the conclusions, not necessarily in the standpoints. If I take a standpoint as the truth, then I am committing a mistake. This is a very common mistake, very popular mistake. Philosophers commit these mistakes. Religious leaders, religious founders commit this mistake. Preachers commit this mistake. And even the books, many books also commit this mistake. Books and commentaries, a lot of them commit this mistake. The standpoint, they take it as the ultimate, right? As the truth of the entity. Scientists, sometimes many scientists also make certain mistakes. And philosophers in particular, they make. And then religious preachers don't ask. A preacher means committing the mistake of a standpoint, taking a standpoint as the ultimate truth. Therefore, the Acharya says here, Eka Gamyam, understood only in this way, as the truth of it. Aham Brahma Vritti Gamyam, Turiyam, etc. Okay, we'll continue.